All right. We are. Oh, good lord! I see we got a raid. All right, let me get everything loaded up for when this is jumping on. Jeez. Wait, shout out to Team Talk Secure, Wazzy, and crew. I just went live, so excuse me for getting stuff up and running. Let me shout out Wazzy. Let's see if that'll do it. Welcome, folks. Give me a second to get set up, and we will get started. Oh, I wonder if I have to put a space. Hey, what's up, Coniferous Pinecone? How you doing? How was the takeover? It was your stream today, right? Could be my commands aren't working, which is annoying. But either way, welcome, folks. Let me make sure my volume is all right. And we will get started. So what are we doing today? We are checking out a current indie game in early access that's in development called Halls of Torment. And I picked this game up last week after getting it recommended by a YouTuber I follow. And it was a lot of fun. So I figured it'd be an interesting trip to show this off for stream today and show everybody. Pinecone says, it was very vampire, very fun. Nice. Did you win? Or you winning? I wonder if I have to... That shouldn't be an at. I have to look at why my shoutouts weren't working. I'll figure that out later. But let's go ahead and jump into Halls of Torment, and I'll explain what this game is. I think it's been getting a bit more attention lately. It wasn't even on my radar. I had not heard anything about this one. We'll start with Archer. Panko says, no, I died. Oh, that's rough, buddy. Well, hopefully you still had fun. Alright, I've got control of the Archer type character. And where I'm walking around is sort of like a central hub. This is where you start off at the beginning of the game. And this is where you'll do a lot of your basic upgrades and item management before you go on a run. So to kind of summarize what this game is, it's like a Diablo 2 like aesthetic style presentation Bullet Heaven game. Bullet Heaven being kind of the roguelike wave-based shooter genre that Vampire Survivors helped propel. So it's very much in the style of Vampire Survivors, but with the presentation and style of like a old school Diablo game. And what I'll do is we'll take this character on a run and I'll kind of explain how this game works, all the mechanics that I've managed to figure out up to this point, and then we'll go and run through some different maps, characters, and all sorts of stuff with the cast. So in the main town hub here, camp, I don't have any sort of abilities or menus by default. I can walk around and talk to people. There's a couple NPCs that you'll rescue running around on the maps, and they'll unlock systems for you to access and augment the game. Like this guy. This guy is the well keeper. When you go on runs, you will find artifacts, equipment on the maps, and you have to take them to the well and have him pull them up in order to recover them from the run. If you die or beat the run, you don't get equipment unless you have him scavenge it from the well. And you can buy them from this NPC dude right here, and then you have it permanently. And so what sets this game apart from something like Vampire Survivors, which is a bit more individual character and like stat upgrade focused, is kind of like Diablo. You have an equipment grid. For each of the characters you play, you can load them up with different equipment pieces that you get from your successful runs, or successful scavenging runs rather, and they all do different things as far as stats. Some are defensive based, some, like this one, will increase the pickup range of power-ups, others will augment attack speed, and a whole bunch of different buffs, so it's definitely very build focused. And you can save loadouts down here, so you can hot swap them between the characters real quickly, or do it piece by piece. And when you start out, you've got maybe like three pieces of equipment, nothing really that significant. Then as you proceed through successful runs, you'll accumulate more gear. Over here, the Shrine of Blessings. This is your permanent character upgrades. Again, kind of similar to the way Vampire Survivors permanent upgrades work, and I'll be making that comparison a lot because this game is very similar in style. You can use gold, which you accumulate on runs when you're playing, to get permanent upgrades for all the characters, and these are universal upgrades, things like projectile area, attack speed, block strength, defense, fire damage. All these things power up the different characters, and revives is something I just unlocked, I think. You'll be able to revive once per revisit to upgrade max. You can also refund and respec all these upgrades if you want to focus on something else. Eventually, I want to have all these bought. It'll make the characters a lot easier to use. And of the character classes I have unlocked, there's currently the Archer that I'm using here. There's Exterminator, Swordsman, Cleric, Shield Maiden. There's 2 more. We'll see if we can unlock another one in the session today. The quest board here has a whole bunch of achievable quests in like a grid format, which I haven't really seen in a game recently. And these require you to do different things on your runs, like kill a certain amount of enemies with a certain weapon, last a certain amount of time, defeat certain enemies. I think this is the boss one up at the top. And unlocking things on this grid unlocks usable power-ups, unlocks characters, and there's a whole bunch of them. There's level-based ones, there's character-based ones. It's like, this is the warrior, swordsman. Here, this is the archer. And each of the unlocked characters has their own grid of things that you can achieve by just doing these different achievements on quests, and you get money and all sorts of things that you can use in-game. Actually a lot. Like down here it says I'm at 90 of 201 quests, so I've got a long ways to go since I just started playing this. And the last guy here, this is the potion merchant. As you roam around the maps, you'll be able to find certain pieces of the environment, these are plants, mushrooms, or whatnot, ingredients to craft different potions that you can take, and they do different things. The wine allows you to re-roll your power-ups when you want to choose your build. I don't know what these other ones are because I haven't found all of the ingredients for them yet, so we'll have to see. You can use a certain necklace artifact to point you towards ingredients if you want to do like an ingredient run. I currently have one that's an experience booster on my neck, so I'm going to keep that for now. But at some point, these other ones are going to get unlocked, and they'll allow you to do different things. I'm going to assume like skip or maybe block certain parts from showing up in the list. But that's the basic interface for town, or the camp. Not terribly comprehensive, but we will go ahead and jump into the first level. So when you go to Register of Halls, it gives you access to any of the levels you've got unlocked so far. There's 3 maps in the game right now. We'll probably do some runs on Haunted Caverns. 1, because I haven't beaten this one yet, and 2, just because I need to accumulate more gold and gear. The second one, Ember Grounds, is the only one I've managed to beat. And then Forgotten Viaduct is the last one I unlocked. It's kind of difficult. Most of the characters I was taking there were having trouble killing things, so I might need to get some better gear first. But we'll go ahead and jump in. So I'm dropping into the dungeon map in Halls of Torment. Again, very kind of old school Diablo 1, Diablo 2-esque kind of design. And our characters have a toggleable auto attack. And let's see, we'll go crit damage. The archer uses projectiles, she uses a bow and arrow. And you can toggle the auto attack on and off with right click. I can't see why you'd ever want it manual, because then you're just going to be clicking with your finger forever. So I leave that toggled on. Every time we level up, which is the bar on the left here, the blue potions and yellow potions and later these jewel things fill up your experience, and when you level up, just like in Vampire Survivors, you get a list of traits that you can choose to boost your character. And so this is where the idea of build focus comes in. Since I've been playing it, it seems like crit damage, chance crit damage seems to be the best way to kill things. So that's why I'm going to try build this character, and we'll see how it works. The cursor on screen is basically my targeting reticule. As I can move it around, my character will change directions and she'll auto fire. Let's go to damage. And from what I've read, the maps are kind of procedurally generated. They have borders, and then it kind of keeps going. There's no limit to the map. You won't run into the end. It'll just kind of loop. But when we're dropped in, there's some things on the map that are points of interest. That icon at the bottom looks like a scroll. That's where we're going to head first. Hey, Snake's here. Snake is dropping a stretch and a whole lot of hydrates. What's happening, Snake? I will grab some fuel. That temporary power-up, I believe, is attack rate. It's my character just going rapid fire. And we'll keep kind of pathing our way down towards the scroll, and that will give me a chance to explain what it does. Meanwhile, we just want to keep grabbing levels. So for Archer, because she uses projectiles that pierce, I think anything that's going to be damage, attack speed, crit chance, crit damage is going to be important. She's a little squishy with a low health pool. Again, Diablo style over here on the left. I need to improve health at some point, because otherwise later enemies are going to start taking big chunks out of my health. But for now, we'll prioritize damage. Snake says, good, I was just playing some Minecraft while listening to old Super Best Friends podcast. Oh, nice. I listened to their podcast pretty consistently back in the day. I try and catch the current Castle Super Beast stuff, but I don't normally catch it live. Usually I'll listen to it after the fact, or watch the clips on Wooly's channel. Alright, crit chance main weapon, additional projectiles, we'll go crit chance. The point of each run in Halls of Torment, you look at the lower right corner down here, there is a timer. Each run is 30 minutes, and I think there's timer milestone boss spawns. Like we have one here. If you can see a life bar, it means it's like a mini boss. But the point is to survive 30 minutes and then kill the level boss once it spawns at 30. Unlike Vampire Survivors, there's no Reaper that comes out and kills you. Instead, you get an actual boss fight, and those are pretty difficult encounters. I've only managed to kill one so far. Now, the scrolls give you weapons or abilities over here in these 6 slots. These are kind of like your additional weapons from Vampire Survivors. They slot in here, and they will have their own series of upgrades that kind of supplement your offense or defense as it goes. I like Kugel Blitz is pretty good. It's a bit slow in the beginning, but it does do pretty decent damage as it stacks up. Basically fires a lightning orb that kind of bowling balls its way through enemies. And as you power it up, you can sort of affect its projectile frequency, damage. Electrification is stun, I think. I'll go firing frequency. And eventually you can upgrade it so that it sort of tracks around and paths through enemies like a magnet. Snake says, I listened to it for some background noise and also want to see what games they're excited for the Vita. Oh yeah, back in the day, I remember Liam was a pretty big proponent of the Vita and the Vita library. I think, trying to remember back to what I played a lot of on the Vita. I definitely played a lot of Dragon's Crown. That was one of my favorite games to come out on that system at the time. Now it's out on pretty much everything. I bought a Vita for P4 Golden. I think I've talked about that before. I think the second Tokiden, which I can't remember if that was Vita exclusive or PSP and then Vita. But Tokiden was also pretty well made. Good Monster Hunter type game. I ported over a lot of my PSP purchases onto the Vita. So things like Dissidia. Played a lot of Dissidia 1 and 2. Oh yeah, so you've been playing Exoprimal, Snake. I'm assuming you got a chance to tinker around with it more since the last time I talked to you. How was that? Was it fun? Also, real quick, it might not be super loud, but the background audio is a custom video game music playlist that we're listening to. Halls of Torment's got a cool soundtrack, but I listened to it for like a week straight. So I'm putting on some different music just to switch things up a little bit. Very ambient and very cool though. Snake says, it's fun, but the only way I'd recommend the game is with Game Pass. Don't buy it at its full price because the game was meant to be free to play until something happened in development. I see. It seems like an interesting competitive game. If it was like purely PvE and there was single player, I would probably be more likely to pick it up. But as a primarily co-op game, like a team-based competitive game, I don't know if that's really up my alley. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe if it goes on sale later or something. Okay, we'll throw some upgrades into movement speed. We're going to need to be able to book it around the map, especially when the boss gets here at the 30-minute mark, assuming it'll last that long. The boss is fast. Every time I've tried to kill it, it's outsped me. Oh, I should have got crit chance. Okay, waves are getting a bit more dense. Now we've got these little red imp dudes. I'll need to pause to read chat just because eventually it's going to start getting a bit hectic. So if I take my eyes off the screen, I will probably die. Snake says, you don't actually fight the enemy team a lot. You only do it at the end of the match, and that's if you choose PvE or PvP. It seemed like it was kind of more like a competitive PvE type game where your team is trying to outscore the other team. I guess it depends on the modes. There's probably different modes you play. And you can like summon big boss dinosaurs to slow down the enemy team and whatnot. Like I said, the Exoprimal... Ooh, piercing up. The presentation in Exoprimal looked really cool. But the whole gameplay style, I don't know if I'd get a lot out of since I don't really play competitive games that much. Okay, got another mini boss on the screen. This is the Imp Chieftain. There's a lot of area of effect and projectile attacks, but as long as you keep your distance, watch out when he summons minions, and lay the damage on. It's not bad. Ah, so you compete against the other team. Both teams can win at the same time. Oh, okay. I gotcha. Well, you have to keep me posted on that. It seems interesting. So when we get a treasure chest, either from a drop or from elsewhere, it'll give us a choice of gear. It'll either be armor pieces or bottles for potions. And it'll tell you if you've owned it and pulled it from the well already, or if you haven't. So we'll grab the gloves, just because I haven't managed to salvage them yet. That seems like it'd be good for someone with slower weapons that have more cooldown. Not so much with the archer, who focuses on speed. Additional projectiles will give us arrows eventually. Oh, that was a magnet glove. It vacuums up everything on the map. It's been dropped. I do like how when you level in this game, you get that sort of runic burst around you, and it pushes the enemy away for a brief minute. Just for a couple seconds or so, it just kind of gets them off you, so that you don't come out of the upgrade menu and get mobbed immediately. Okay. So there's another mini boss protecting the scroll. I'll go ahead and grab it. Now, I've had pretty good mileage with Lightning Strike. This is like the lightning ring in Vampire Survivors. It automatically just targets enemies at intervals and will zap them. But it also can stun. At upgraded levels, it'll create like a stun area of effect. And that is pretty handy. Yeah, we're doing pretty good damage with crit. Ooh, wine bottle. And now that we got the scroll down in this corner of the map, we can start pathing upwards. This bucket is the well. This is where we have to dump our retrieved artifacts in order for the well keeper to pull them up and save them for us. And you can do it once per run, which I'd like to see them at least up the chances to, or repetition times to more than once. Because once you do it, if you find a good piece of gear, you can't recover it after you've already sent stuff up. Okay, let's see, movement. Oh, we'll go stun chance. Now we've got tankier waves, the skeletons with shields. This game has a defensive block system where every entity, including your character, has a defensive block stat. And when you take a hit, it does like a block check, almost like an armor class. Damage roll, and if your stat exceeds the damage, then you block it, essentially. That's what little shield icons are. So some of the defensive characters can push for higher defensive stats so that you can tank through things a lot faster. Oh, and I see Team Tasker has redeemed a Rakufaktu. Let me pull up the list. I think I might need to add more facts to the list. Let's see. I will put a new one on here. Let me think for a second. Last time someone redeemed something was the most recent fact on the list. Let me see. Let's see, this one is on here. Okay, I got one. It's not a groundbreaking fact, and something I've maybe mentioned once or twice, but it's a true fact. The true fact about me is I own a pretty decently nice Japanese electric guitar, but I don't know how to play guitar. I took it out of storage and was fiddling around with it lately, so I know it still works, and it'd be cool to hook up to my loop, but I don't know how to play guitar. I was learning and then I stopped. So your fact is I own a pretty nice Japanese electric guitar. One of these days, maybe I'll get a Rocksmith subscription or something, start learning how to play it. It's a nice instrument. Okay, let's see. We could upgrade frequency of the lightning strikes. And then slight decrease in damage, but the lightning, which might be a little bit difficult to see because it's so fast on screen, but the lightning strikes can crit. It's tied to your base crit chance, and they do a pretty decent amount of damage when they crit. So if you keep boosting crit chance for all equipment, then the lightning will benefit from that. But some of the stun upgrades increase the frequency or decrease the frequency. So you kind of have to choose between speed of strikes and like stun. I'll go. Oh, I should have done movement health. Alright. And the crit procs are the red numbers. You can see it coming from my arrows, and then when my lightning ball or the lightning strikes hit stuff, and you see it go red, that means it's critting. And we're at 19, it's under 20 minutes. Here's the magnet glove. The one on the map is further up, but there's a chance to drop. And that's what's causing the vacuum effect. The shield gives you increased speed and invulnerability for like 10-15 seconds or something like that. Not bad if you get stuck in a hairy situation and just get lucky enough to pull it from the environment. There are these barrels, crates, and other things you can blow up, and they have a chance to drop helpful items that you can use. You can't store them, they just get consumed immediately. So this one's attack speed, but crit damage down. Now we'll take movement speed and health. Regeneration, I'm still not quite sold on regen. You can see my character's health go up by like a tick every second or so. And that's the regen. You can upgrade it with the permanent passive upgrades. So maybe it's good later. But considering it's like 1 hit point every time it procs, and things are hitting me for like 30. Damage. More damage. Damage critical. Those are first priority, and then speed. The archer's kind of designed as a glass cannon type of character, so I won't necessarily be trying to push defensive stats, except for maybe health. Ooh, that boss dropped another one of these. Okay, so now we've got a third ability slot here. Needles aren't bad. These are basically fast-firing projectiles that hit random nearby enemies. I like the ring blades. These are like these chakram boomerang things that sort of fly in and out. Ooh, crit damage. You can see them right there, those circular buzzsaw-looking things. They kind of fly out, fly back, and then they path and hit enemies. And pierce, which is also helpful. Okay. Electrified chance. These blue kind of crystal looking things are higher value experience. I think they're the highest. They're either second highest or the highest, because there's purple potions that drop too. And now we got hellhounds, angry doggos. According to what I read on Steam, this game's only available early access on Steam for now. I think this came out in like May. It's relatively new. It hadn't been on my radar. And considering how much time I spent in bullet heaven type games, you'd think it would have been on my radar. But the devs just posted an update today for the development updates. And it looks like they're working on another map. Big content update. Looks to be coming in August. Quick damage. And so kind of like we did for Vampire Survivors, I'll most likely be streaming this one off and on as I learn more about the game, and especially as content comes out for it. Just to sort of show off what's new and kind of continue to explore content. This game on early access, just in case people are wondering, this game's like $4. It is dirt cheap, just like Vampire Survivors was, and I definitely have got my money's worth. Been playing this game a lot. Okay, I'm still doing alright on the waves. Having a piercing projectile is definitely handy. We can shoot 3 at a time right now. And it just kind of cuts a big pathway through the enemies. And the waves are going to continue to get more and more dense. So we'll need to keep pushing damage and eventually speed. Well, this boss, the Skeleton Knight, has a whole bunch of close and far range projectile blasts. So we gotta keep moving. Let's see. We'll go range. Got him. Okay. Fighter's Headband is the only one we have not gotten in that choice list. It would be cool if at some point the devs add the ability for certain equipment upgrades to cosmetically change your character model. I know that's probably not their highest priority when it comes to the content, but just like in Diablo where you equip different armor and weapons, you can see them change your character model. That'd be neat if they put something like that in this game. We gotta figure, they're probably working on set bonuses too, or like set pieces of gear that you can collect that have synergy bonuses for having multiple pieces from that set. Hey, Mr. Dirtbones is here. What's up, Mr. Dirtbones? Good to see ya. How are you doing today? Alright, there's the well. Maybe I will hold off on sending up an item until I get one more. Might get something better than those gloves. Okay, damage. I'm not gonna prioritize going all the way up to get the magnet glove in the upper left. Maybe eventually. But for the moment, let's just focus on getting through the waves. These skeleton mage characters are trouble. They will shoot you with fireballs from a distance and try and box you in. See, the waves are now getting fairly dense. We're at 13 and a half minutes left. So I'm going to need to make sure I keep moving. Mr. Dirtbone says, I've been playing a lot of Deep Rock lately. Oh, nice. I have a couple friends who play that. I think I might have been gifted a copy of it at some point. I haven't tried it, but I've heard it's good. Alright, it's a lot of dudes on the field. Oh. Okay, I think we are going to path upwards. Let me drop those gloves in the well just to retrieve them. And then we'll make our way up to the magnet glove, because I'm going to need the levels. Mr. Dirtbone says you might know Rock and Stone. Is that from Deep Rock? Again, I know some people who play it, but I haven't played it myself. So if it's from the game, someone may have mentioned it to me. Ah. That's cool. Okay, I'm gonna kind of beeline it towards the magnet glove. We'll grab speed. I'll kill the enemies that are in my way, and then when I get to the actual power-up, it'll just hoover everything up from the map, and I'll probably get several levels and upgrades at once. Ooh. Oh, there's one. That's not the one I was going towards, but that works. Crit chance, stun. More base health. We're at 630 total hit points. And we got some sort of quest unlocked. That'll give us a bonus amount of gold, and it'll tell us what it unlocked at the end of the run. Oh, it was a skeleton mage boss. Try and focus fire. Just like the regular ones. Try and pelt you with projectiles from a distance. Get out of here. Alright, now we got our fourth ability. We could change or upgrade the Kugel Blitz or get Dragon's Breath. This is one of my favorite abilities. It's pretty handy. Dragon's Breath spits out a slow-moving flame wall in front of your character. And when you upgrade it, it turns into this big sort of cone wall of fire that can burn the enemies and does damage over time. It's quite handy. Okay, under 10 minutes. You can kind of see the spread on the flame wall. As you drop upgrades into it, the speed and size and damage of that projectile gets better over time. Oh, ow. A bunch of these little dogs. Oh, there's the magnet glove, okay. I will go crit damage. Piercing wouldn't be bad. That took like half of my life. Uh-oh. I need to be careful. If I get boxed in and swarmed, then I could get murdered before I even get to the boss. That was attack speed. Frequency of the flame walls. You can get to fire relatively quickly. Just get that damage out there. Alright, what we got? Burn chance, base health. Okay. My health dip's too low. I might have to start getting the base health upgrades. It'll give me a slight bump in my HP. Oh. Is that the Lich? I think the Lich is on the field. Yep. Right there. Forearm. Skeleton boy. Ow. Ooh. That sucks. Ooh, I'm gonna die. Ah. I should have gone for health power-ups, I think. Okay, so our wrap up. We got one quest for Archery Master. Total survival time 2234. Total gold 3k. Our damage statistics over here. Both an aggregate number at the top and DPS, which is kind of neat. It's your damage per second. Yeah, I should have pushed for maybe a bit more speed and hit points. Let's take somebody else out. We'll do the Exterminator. I like this character a lot. I think Exterminator and Shield Maiden are my two favorites. It's kind of hard to see because the model's zoomed out. The Exterminator is kind of like this Plague Doctor dude, and he uses a flamethrower. Let's see. There's the Spellcaster gloves. I don't know how useful that is. When you do not use your main attack for 2 seconds, your abilities become stronger over time. Usually you're going rapid fire with all of the upgrades, so there's not too many instances where you wouldn't be doing that unless you toggle auto off, which I guess you could do, but that'd be kind of annoying. Mr. Dirtbone says, oh god, it's an old man. Yep, that's the Wellkeeper. You have to save this guy on the first map. Second map? First map, you save this guy and then he'll be able to pull stuff up out of the well for you to buy. Scars of Toil. That's probably one I'm gonna get next. Damage goes up for each missing health point, so if you're about half health, it's a pretty big bump in damage. Firewalker boots are pretty good for the Exterminator. the exterminator's deal is fire, which we'll see in a sec. Mr. Dirtbones asks, why does he keep wells? Well, someone's got to keep the wells. The real question is, how do the wells all extend down into the hellscape dungeons below? Okay, so for this one... Oh, that's why it got taken off. I was using a different amulet. Okay, we'll put that on. Crit damage. This is a hat or headpiece that has 4 damage, 4% additional damage for each burning enemy. And there are going to be a lot of burning enemies. Eventually we'll want the Firewalker boots to replace here. These, when you hit burning enemies, it causes basically like splash projectiles that hit things around them. Okay, we'll do that, and we'll burn a bunch of gold on upgrades here. We'll max fire. Again, this is pretty good for the character I'm using right now. Maybe go health capacity, movement speed. Oh, I wonder if this scales with overall purchases. I don't think so. I think it's a base price level, and it scales per additional upgrade. I guess we can see. It doesn't cost anything to refund. You can just refund and respec at any point. Okay, it's still 5,000. Okay, I guess you could do one of these. Block strength and defense are good for the tank characters. Health regen, I think I'm going to do that later. And pickup range, not bad, but not essential, I think. Yeah, this will be for the tank characters that I use. Yeah, we'll do something like that. Hopefully I can get enough gold to buy these boots. Mr. Dirtbone says, better question, how does he pull out random items of the well and how they get in the well? Well, I've got to put him in the well in order for him to pull them up. I'm assuming he just has really good upper body strength, since I guess it's not clear if we're in like vertical levels of dungeons, or if each map is a different well and he just pulls them up out of different wells that all connect back to camp. It's not clear. Okay, let's do Haunted Caverns again. We'll take the Exterminator. So like I mentioned before, this guy's deal is he uses a flamethrower that spreads damage pretty well and synergizes pretty well with burn stats. We're still going to want to go for crit damage since he's spreading the damage around. And grab movement speed too. I think my mistake last run was not putting enough into movement speed earlier on, so my character was getting mobbed by the waves and couldn't kind of dance around. And what I'll do is I'll pick up a couple different abilities to show off some of the other ones. Yeah, more damage. So just like before, we're gonna path down to the scroll, and then see if we've gotten anything decent to drop into the well on the way back up. We're gonna follow the same kind of trajectory as before. After this, we'll switch maps. We'll go to the Ember Grounds, whatever they're called. Map 2. Map 2's layout's different. The spread of things on the map are different. Okay, burn chance up. And I guess as we're going, we can keep an eye out for the potion components. Because I don't have the neck piece on that points towards them, we'll just have to see if we randomly stumble upon them. You can tell they're on the map because they'll be highlighted in green. It'll look like a little green plant on the map. I'm just noticing that I'm not getting crits. I wonder if this weapon can't crit. It's very possible. I haven't used the Exterminator in a bit. Okay, we'll go with Arcane Splinters. These essentially create damage zones on the map. They basically create like static hazards that do damage if the enemy touches them, and I think the upgrades allow them to shoot. So it's kind of like creating a minefield in a way. Oh, I know what I can check. On the menu here, it actually shows our base stat parameters and all of our chances. Yeah, crit chance on the main weapon, 0. So unless we pick up one, I don't think the flamethrower can crit. So its damage has to come from burns. Base damage plus burns. Alright, go movement. What I like about the Exterminator is that because his flame caster sort of sweeps, like the cone of damage is a bit more like a sweeping fan pattern. It means you can kind of melt enemies quickly as long as you have good damage output. Versus the archer is good because she can pierce and hit things from far away, but her projectile doesn't sweep around her. So you basically have to rely on speed in order to be able to change directions. With the Exterminator, you just sort of move. and light things on fire. A bit easier to aim. Okay, let's keep making our way towards the scroll. Base health up. Okay. Now, we've got a new choice here. Radiant Aura. This is like the garlic. It has a passive aura around that does damage. It's not bad. I think it does pretty good damage, but I'm going to go Dragon's Breath because of the fire synergy. That one trait called Fire Affinity will affect both the main weapon from our character plus Dragon's Breath. Okay, burn chance. Still need to push for damage as a priority. But basically, if you like fire, if you're a pyromaniac, then it seems like a lot of the optimal builds for Exterminator are focused around burn damage. Oh, there's the chieftain. Done. It's pretty good damage over time. Ooh, war horns. That's new. Every 5 seconds, you perform a war cry which weakens enemies in its range for 5 seconds, adding 3 stacks of fragile, which is defense down, I think. Okay, we definitely want to grab that. I haven't even seen that weapon before today, or that armor piece. We'll throw that in the well and have the dude send it up. Burn chance. That's good. Additional attacks. I think it's a bit harder to see, but the hit count of the flame projectiles does get affected by that particular trait. What I've read is that you definitely want to focus on that. And it looks like the splinters are able to crit. But I wonder if it's not going to roll the crit power up into the pool because of my main weapon. Okay, we'll take burn chance. Well, the fire melts the shields off of those shield skeletons pretty quickly. I never noticed that. I wonder if it does block checks differently. Whatever it is, it's effective. Try and take out the mages before they box me in with projectiles. And it should be right underneath. Yeah, the well's over there. Let's keep moving. Okay, Fire Affinity 2 ups fire area, fire damage, burn chance. That's pretty important for the loadout of abilities we're using. You can see based on the upgrade structure, now the Dragon's Breath is a big, like, wide projectile wall. And you can upgrade it so that it knocks things back too. That's pretty handy. Go damage. We're at the 19-minute mark, 20-minute mark, just under 20. Yeah, fire seems to work pretty good on these slimes too. Yeah, pretty good damage over time. See, 250. Pretty high ticks of fire damage. That's why it's worth investing in the burn damage, because you've been inflicting it on everything. The damage really does add up over time. I picked up Lightning Strike again. One of the upgrades for the Dragon's Breath turns into like a constant jet of fire that just shoots out without stopping, but it's hard to aim. I don't like that upgrade as much. I think the regular wall works a little bit better. I'd rather have the one that pushes things back. Interesting. So the crit damage comes out probably because of the Lightning Strike, Splinters. And I think Dragon's Breath can crit too, so we'll take that. It's just we'll need to get actual crit chance power-ups to help out with that damage. I guess we'll see if it rolls. Meanwhile, let's keep making our way up towards the well. There it is. Okay. So I guess we'll grab Cunning Technique for crit chance when we can. Okay, there's the well. Let's offload our item. Attack speed. Attack speed again. Okay, what we can do is we can make our way up towards the magnet glove. Ooh. Go base damage. I'm kind of keeping an eye on the splinters to see. It looks like they do decent damage as long as things run into them. Because the spread is so random, they could pop into a place where enemies aren't walking, and then they won't be as effective. Attack speed. Those green slimes, when they die, they create like a poison puddle on the ground. I need to be careful. If I walk through too many of those, I'll just take chunks out of my health. Oh. Gonna let the skeleton knight dude box me in. It burned. Okay, this is the one we just got. I already own one of those. I guess it doesn't matter. Ah, nice additional attacks. That's a shrine. I don't know what that does. I think it puts like a buff spot on the ground. It's either a buff spot or a debuff spot. Okay, should be getting close to the magnet glove. We're still doing okay on damage, but I could see that the waves are getting a bit more resistant. Alright, take additional strikes. I haven't used any rerolls yet. I'm just going to test that out next time we get a pool of things that aren't optimal. We're at 14 minutes. I realize I'm blocking the timer in the lower right corner. We're at just about 14 on the dot. Crit damage bonus. Should be right. Yeah, right under the magnet glove. I'm trying to thin out the... Oh, no. Guess I got one. Got another one instead. Okay. We'll reroll. Damage on the splinters. That works. Ooh. Crit damage, burn chance. We'll go burn chance. burn chance first, crit damage, or crit chance, then crit damage. That's handy. Now they're dropping. Ooh, fire affinity or crit chance. I will take fire affinity. More synergy than just the crit chance right now. Okay, our damage output seems decent. Just need to keep on par with the waves as we tick down to the last 12 minutes of the run. Okay, there's the magnet glove. Try and thin out some of the waves. Yeah, we'll scrap it now. It's not going to have as much to hoover up since we just got one. But we'll take what we can get. %, area. I don't see that one very often. But that should apply to everything. Yep. It's a pretty big spread in the flame walls. And there's boss mage. Oh, look at that damage. I think our DPS build is a little bit better than when we were working with Archer. Alright, let's check out Raiden Aura. Again, static damage aura around the character that has charges that detonate and apply damage uniformly. It's pretty decent. It's a bit more helpful in the early run, and I'm still trying to figure out if it maintains its usefulness towards the end. But it's additional damage, so I'll take it. And it can, I think it can crit too. I think the aura has a crit rate. Looks like it. Okay, we can go aura radius, aura damage, or speed. We'll go speed on the Dragon's Breath first, since that one's further upgraded. Hitting it about at the 10-minute mark. Okay, upgrade that again. So we picked up everything that is dropped on the map. So now we're basically just need to survive the waves. A lot of enemies. A lot of little swarming enemies. Okay, there is a critical path. Yeah, let's do that. Since the base crit damage buffs that we've been picking up should help with the aura. So in addition to its crit chance going up. Oh, ow, ow. As it goes off, it'll do more damage when it crits. I'm going to take some health. Try and get a buffer of defensive stats. So we're getting pretty close to the boss. 8 minutes. There's the Lich. That's the one that killed me last time. That's not the boss of the area. The last mini boss before the actual level boss at 30 minutes. Well, I want that guy off the field as soon as possible. Oh. Not if I get stuck on the environment, though. Alright, you're done. Duelist Spark. 50% damage, minus 5% damage for each enemy in your pickup range. That's interesting. Seems like a kind of double-edged weapon. So for any enemy that's within your item pickup range, you get a negative damage buff. I wonder if that even equates out to an overall damage boost. Because as you get to the end of the run, and there's just these massive waves, you have a lot of things in your pickup range. Might have to tinker around with that when I eventually buy that one. My health's getting low. You've probably seen, as I've been running around the map, sometimes I'll pick up food or these red potions in the environment. They're not super common, but things like barrels, it's your chance to get those. But I need to try and recover my health. Otherwise, I'm not going to really stand a chance against the boss. Tankier skeletons. Should be able to punch a hole through. It's one of the reasons why I like the flame walls. It does carve a path, but even now, if not careful, get stuck on the environment, get boxed in, and I'll be pretty dead pretty quick. Okay, just under 5 minutes. Oh, another magnet glove spawned. Alright, let's see if we can beeline towards that. There it is. Try and get some last minute levels before the boss shows up. Oh, got an achievement for hitting level 60. That's nice. Okay, 4 minutes. Okay, movement. Get some foot speed. I think I'm a little bit concerned that my foot speed might be low for the boss. I guess we'll find out. If anything, my health. My health is a risk. Oh, got an achievement for using Splinter. That's good. Oh, what hit me? A bunch of those dogs hit me, I think. Okay, attack speed. Oh, man. The problem with the Exterminator is, despite having good damage, decent mobility, and ability to do damage over time, he cannot take hits. Like, his defense is pretty low. And I haven't been upgrading defense at all. The character's not really meant to tank. He's meant to be a bit more evasive. Okay, under 2 minutes. Attack frequency. Ow. About a minute left before the boss spawns. Come on. It'd be a shame to burn my revive before the boss even hits the field. 25 seconds. I guess we'll go base health. Revive should give me 50% when it picks me back up. So if I improve my hit point pools, it'll give me a bit more when I eventually do have to revive. Alright, there's the boss. This is the Lord of Pain, I think his name is. And what he does is he rides like a demonic steed and has a bunch of kind of rush down charge attacks and a bunch of projectile spread attacks like that. It's mostly the projectiles and his speed. He kind of picks up speed as he loses health. So I've gotten this guy down to like a pixel, and then I just couldn't keep him off me, and I died. Ow. Oh. I almost wonder if it would have been worth it to just spend 10k on 2 revives when I respect all my money. Well, we'll find out. That was a bad guess. Ah. Really close. We did get a couple things unlocked, though. That's good. A little under 4k in total money. Okay. Who should we try out next? Could take the... Let's take the cleric next. It's like a priest-looking dude. Now you... There is a couple pieces of gear that summon things. I have a ring that summons an imp, and this one here summons a skeleton every couple seconds. They kind of run around like a passive minion and hit things. They're not bad, but I don't know how viable like a minion build is in this game yet. Kind of curious to see if they add like a necromancer or character that specializes in summoning as part of their mechanic. But we can go ahead and jump in, and we're going to hit another map. We'll go Ember Grounds next. This is level 2. And so the cleric has the staff, and his attack radius is more like a cone, and he hits twice. And his weapon has a chance to apply some debuffs to the enemies. I think it's... one is defense, and the other might be offense. It's a chance to proc that when hitting with the staff. I'm still trying to figure out the ideal build for this character. I've run him a couple times. We'll mess around with it here. Let's see. We can look at the crit chance. Base crit chance is 0 on the staff. Holy Scepter. So I wonder if this one can't crit. Oh, I didn't mean to put that on there. Oh well. That's the crafting finding charm. If you look at the upper left next to my experience bar, there's a that little hand icon for the amulet with some arrows. That's actively pointing me towards things on the map. So I guess if nothing else for this run, we can use this character to try and find some more crafting ingredients so we can unlock more of those potions. We're pathing towards the scroll. So this tile set, this level is kind of this volcanic hellscape, and it's similar in kind of layout to the other one, but you start with 2 scrolls on the map, one to the east and one to the west, and so that's going to be our kind of general trajectory as we go, trying to get to those. Now, as far as building towards the end boss of this level, this is the only boss I managed to beat at 30 minutes. And it took a long time. It took almost an hour just because I didn't have a distance damage build at all. So I don't know what the strategy is going to be with the cleric since his staff doesn't hit very far. I'm going to need to get some abilities that can hit and strike from a distance because the boss is basically like a wizard or like a sorcerer. And he summons a lot of stuff that blocks for him, so you can't get close. The first boss is this sort of magma golem looking creature. Let's see. I guess I can go over generation. What I'd like is range up, not range down. Okay, we'll take lightning strike first. There's a scroll. Now this time, yeah, I'm going to go Dragon's Breath and try and get its range up. What we really need is good DPS. DPS and range. I can go Bird Chance. That's the other way I killed this boss before. I basically had to dance around. I was using Shield Maiden, I think is the one I was using, and I couldn't hit with my main weapon consistently because the boss was too far away, so I had to kind of get the boss in range of the flame walls and then basically burn the boss to death. It took a long time. Okay, now let's make our way to the east. Look at that other scroll. On this tile set, we've got lava slimes. Okay, damage up good. I think I'm gonna go multi-hit, just more hit procs. Attack speed. We want to get hits out as quick as possible and pile the damage on. Go range up. That'll help. I know when I did this before, I had my firewalls set to kind of go way out in front. So they had pretty good lateral range. It's how I was able to hit the boss and do burn damage. But for this character, because he can apply buffs, that makes things a little bit better. But his weapon can't crit because it inflicts debuffs. Yeah, I meant to say that it's, I think attack and defense debuffs. The little glowing sigil icons you can see on the enemy, that's the debuff. There's a yellow one and there's a red one. I think it's attack and defense. And I guess that's a trade-off for not being able to crit. Okay, I'm gonna get the other scroll and then I'm gonna follow the pathing towards the crafting ingredients, the green arrows in the upper left. I want that other ability first. There's another boss. It's kind of fire demon looking guy. Trying to box me in. Get out of here. Okay, well, I guess since I already own this, I could put on the experience one, which I already have, but for the sake of the run, this will get me more experience faster. And now I don't have to worry about the crafting ingredients. We'll just prioritize getting the scroll. Maybe I'll try and get another type of ability, like maybe the splinters, or not the splinters, the arrows, the fast firing projectile, because I'm applying, I believe, again, I'd have to look it up. I was trying to find this the other day. I think it's defense and attack debuffs, so anything that hits quickly is going to be able to drop things faster when they're under debuffs. So it might make sense to get something that's going to hit quickly, either the Kugel Blitz or the arrows. Even the splinters wouldn't be bad. I'll have to look. Okay, now we got a big lava slime. This thing divides and shrinks every time its bar gets depleted for a few rounds to kill it several times. Oh. Getting boxed in. Oh, okay, got it. Let's see. We can't re-roll anything on here. We can look at Astronomer's Orbs. We haven't seen that one yet. These are kind of like the Bible. They're static, rotating projectiles that just move on their own and do damage to whatever they hit. And I believe their speed is tied to your movement speed stat. So if you up that, then they'll orbit faster. Yeah, there's other scroll. This one spawns gargoyle-looking flyer. Pretty squishy. Oblivious bottle. So this is for a potion type I don't have yet. That's fine. Here we go. Phantom Needles. We'll grab this. Eventually, I think I want this one. The Heat Blast for knockback on Dragon's Breath. But we'll get Needles. And these are the ones that kind of fire randomly. It's like kind of like the magic wand. Alright, we can upgrade damage and speed on the Balls of Doom. Now I'm going to make my way back to the well. I'm going to drop this bottle in there. Oh, piercing. Okay. That's definitely good. It means our waves will go through more enemies, thin them out. Ow, ow. So I wonder... So our base crit chance is 0, a 20% crit chance with what we've picked up so far, but it does seem like even if we pick up crit chance, if the weapon itself doesn't have a crit mechanic, it won't have that go off. But everything else, like the needles, lightning, the balls, and the fire, can all crit. So those benefit from that crit stat. So it's worth getting. Here's a well. Chuck that in there. I guess what I could do is I can hot swap my equipment out whenever I want. I can use this to find some of the ingredients and then switch back to the experience booster. I'm not really locked in at all. I would like to get some of those other potions unlocked. Oh, nice. That's helpful. Piercing or additional attacks? I'll do additional attacks. Both those are good. Okay, yeah, attack speed. Damage. Oh, another glove. Should be right around whatever that ingredient is. The arrow's not pointing down, so it must be right. There it is. Mushroom. That spawns a bunch of these green zombie guardian things. Just take them out. And even if we die, we still get the crafting item. That's nice. It's not going to make me pick it up again. In fact, since I'm going to grab the glove in a sec, swap back to the experience boost, and then when we head out into the map, we'll try and find the next ingredient. We're at 15 minutes. That's buff chance, or debuff chance rather. Another scroll. What we got? Ooh, transfixion. That's new. I haven't seen this one before. Fires projectiles in the direction you're facing. Damage is reduced for every hit enemy. Chance to apply fragile. Is this an upgrade to the... Nope, this is just brand new. Okay. Kind of like the knives, I guess. In Vampire Survivors. Oh, I see. Yeah, it's additional like forward shooting projectiles. That's not bad. But if we up damage on that, it'll come in handy. Now we can get Heat Blast. I don't think I've ever had 5 abilities before since I've been playing this. It's luck of the draw. So we'll put this on. Now we're heading to the southwest. down my health too. Yeah, transfixion is kind of cool. It's like having the archer's weapon, a faster version of the archer's weapon. Doesn't go quite as far, but hits quick. You can up projectile count. And it has additional chance to apply debuffs. Like, I'm guessing transfiction's good for cleric. 14 minutes. Oh, come on. Another boss. He's kind of like a phantom knight, like a legionnaire almost. He uses projectiles and sort of shadow clone jutsu to hit you. Like so. It's actually pretty dangerous and you kill this guy quick. And you're done. Seems like our DPS is pretty decent with this build. I need to push crit a little more for my non-staff based weapons. But if I can slowly start regaining my health pool, I think we might actually be alright. I have no idea if this build's going to be easier for fighting the boss though. Still not super far range as far as attacks go. But we'll see if we can even make it that far. There's another crafting ingredient. These Hellhound waves are pretty dense. I was trying to... Oh boy. Trying to make it through. We're about 11 minutes on the dot. The next one is east. Okay, I'm gonna put my experience booster back on. I'm about to die. Oh, those little imp guys are carrying bombs. Okay, that's what's going off. Okay, go for health. Oh, that's nice. I'll get me a few rounds worth of experience. Ah, okay, so here's Potion of Oblivion down here. I guess I unlocked it when I got the crafting ingredient. This is Banish. So if you don't want anything to show up in the list ever again, that's what you'd use. Okay, it's good to know. Under 10 minutes. All those green poison hazards make it difficult to just run through and vacuum up all of the experience stuff. So I take a pretty decent chunk of damage every time I walk over one of those. I'm trying to be careful. Potion. I feel like the potions are like a flat percentage. It seems like they're like 10%. Oh, 10% health regen, which is nice. And I completely wasted all the potion I just got. Okay, upgrade needles, attack speed. I think one more boss is going to show him. One of the ones I haven't killed yet, the Worm Queen. I think it's the last 5 or so minutes. It's under 7 minutes now. Getting close. Okay, hit 60 with the cleric. That's good. It's an achievement. I didn't realize he's attacking 3 times now. It's also nice. Uh-oh. Ah. You need to be mindful of the environment. I get stuck on the environment and get pinned. Since there's no real post-hit invincibility or hit stun, you just get your HP pool tanked. And that's no good. Okay, there's the Worm Queen. Kind of snake-looking dragon creature that Reason why it's so difficult to fight is that it goes in and out of the ground. You can't hit it when it's submerged. Ow. Ooh. Could really use some health. 5 minutes. I think the last time when I actually got to the boss, I basically just waited it out. Didn't kill that boss because everything despawns once the boss shows up. Might burn my revive again. It's like real lucky and get a potion. Actually, the boss is almost dead. I'm trying really hard to not get boxed in so I don't die. I'm literally like 2 hits away from burning a revive. There it is. I'll try and take this Worm Queen down. Come on. Uh-oh. Ah. Oh, I got completely boxed in. I think it was almost dead, too. That's tough. Okay, we're gonna do one more run, and this will probably take us to the end of the stream. I think this character is probably my favorite, at least the one I've done the best with. Shield Maiden. What, 25k? I want to test something. Okay, it is 25k no matter what. Alright, it's going to be a little bit on that one. I do my upgrades again. In fact, I could completely respec the entire set of passives just for this one character if I really wanted to and gear it towards her abilities, but I'll just leave it and then I won't reset it again for a while. Now let's see if I can get regen to actually do anything. Maxed. And if it doesn't work, then I will figure that out and I'll reallocate it later. So Shield Maiden is very defense focused. So you could build her to be very tanky. And we're going to do this last run on the third level that we haven't seen yet, and we'll see how far I can get. This one's pretty tough. Forgotten Viaduct. Oh, I'm going to go see what we unlocked. So yeah, Potion of Oblivion. And these other two. One more on this one, and I haven't seen any of the ingredients for this yet. Alright, so Shield Maiden uses a Warhammer and a shield. And so she has one attack in the cone with the Warhammer, and then a shield bash, which knocks the enemies back. So it's kind of like the Cleric, but instead of it just being 2 hits, it's 2 different types of hits. And here's the well. Right at the beginning. We're kind of on this never-ending bridge over these waterways, this particular level. Oh, I'm going to go down here and get the scroll. I never really noticed that the pathing of these enemies is they kind of wander in a pattern. They don't immediately just track to your position right away, I guess, until they see you. And now we've got bowmen, crossbowmen. So for Shield Main, I'm going to go for defensive stats when I can, and then offense any other time like normal. But you can kind of build her so that she can use the block ability to negate damage and also kind of wade through waves easier. She's way tankier than the Cleric I was just playing, or the Archer. I think the damage of the shield bash scales with block strength. To look that up. Yeah, I know her main ability can crit. I just don't have any crit rate yet. Or do I? 5%. 5% innate crit chance. First boss is this heavy knight looking dude. There's a crafting ingredient. Oh boy, those guys are faster than me. See, this was what I was talking about when it came to DPS. I think the enemies are a bit tankier on this level in general. It's like this is the first boss to spawn, and I'm not chunking his health out very quickly. The minions aren't too bad to take out, though. If I had more crit rate, I'd probably be doing damage faster. Get movement speed so I can dance and evade a little bit better. I think at most I've made it as maybe 15 minutes into this level. So we'll see if I can do better. Attack speed. I got gargoyles. Alright, straight up damage. You kill these waves faster. It's a lot of flyers. That is a lot of dudes. That kind of shows off the tanky nature of the Shield Maiden, though. I kind of just waded through a lot of that and took a chunk, but it didn't take like half of my life. That was another boss. Like an undead cavalry knight. I need to clear these bosses out of here. That enemy kind of moves on a horse around the map quickly and tries to box you with projectiles and other hazards. Like so, there's a problem. I can tell my DPS is lagging a little bit. A lot of these enemies aren't going down quite as fast anymore. Okay, crit damage. I really need crit chance. I'm surprised that hasn't been dropping in the pool. Alright. Well, we can get our first ability. Blitz. Now there's 3 bosses on the field. Ow. Ooh. Finally got one. Alright, I guess we'll do splinters. Need something that's going to hit quickly. Now we can make our way up to the northeast. But I'm getting mobbed by all these flying gargoyle enemies. Oh, alright, well. My first death. I don't know if my overall stats just need to be higher, or I'm not prioritizing build correctly for this level. Because we're only 9 minutes in. I managed to kill one boss after a lot of effort, and now there's already 3 on the map again. You know, this flyer, that imp dude with the hammer, and then the cavalryman. Wow. Even with all of the tanky stats. That was rough. What I'll probably have to do is just spend some more time either getting some better gear or getting some more of these base upgrades invested in. Yeah, it's pretty tempting to just wipe everything, grab the revive, 2 revives. I think I'm going to do that. Let's see, how much else can I get? Won't do too much with health regen. Can do one more to do attack range. We'll see how that works. And basically, I'm just going to be grinding. And we should have gotten another potion too. Or another potion ingredient, rather. Yeah, this is the one we got from the viaduct, Belladonna. So I bet these other 2 are probably from that level. And this one's probably from the fire level, I'd assume. Fire Paw, yeah. Alright. Well, as much as I'd like to run through some more passes, I think that will do it for the stream today. Only one we didn't check out was the one you start with, the swordsman. You can look at him next time. Hopefully, it won't take me long to unlock the other 2 classes. There's a warlock and a sorceress. So hopefully by the next time I stream this, I'll have everything unlocked. Maybe get some more gear and then kind of show off the effectiveness of builds and effectively kill the bosses of the runs. I haven't done that so far. And I'd like to be able to at least show how to successfully get through a 30-minute run. But let me take a look and see. We can go and raid someone, spread the good vibes. Once again, shout out to Wazzy and the Toxicure crew for popping in. A little embarrassing as I was just getting set up, but always appreciated. Hey, Bits is online. I'm never online at the same time as Bits. We will raid Bits Blight, and they're playing Fortnite at the moment. So I think what I'll do is let me pause the music. And we will go to outro. Get everything queued up for the raid, and we'll go head over there. See what Bits is up to. Alright, I think that's good to go, so we'll commence the raid. And we'll be back tomorrow in the afternoon to do some grinding in Street Fighter. I'll see if I can do some matches or do some more World Tour, and we'll keep grinding away in Street Fighter, and then it should be a good time. So once again, thanks to everyone who came and hung out. I really like Halls of Torment. It's a fun game. I will be streaming this one again in the future to kind of show off more of it. But in the meantime, I hope all of you have a good evening. Now let's go see what is up to the Burb and the Burb crew.